Ancient Egypt, a civilization shrouded in mystery and grandeur, continues to captivate our imaginations with its timeless allure and enigmatic history. From towering pyramids to intricate hieroglyphs, their legacy whispers through millennia, telling stories of gods, kings, and everyday life. Yet beyond the familiar icons lies a realm less explored, the intimate lives of the ancient Egyptians filled with rituals and beliefs that shaped their society. Their beliefs about sexuality, often surprising and complex, offer a unique window into a world both foreign and strangely familiar, revealing their views on love, fertility, and relationships. Prepare to journey back in time as we uncover the fascinating and sometimes shocking truths about sex in ancient Egypt, exploring the customs and traditions that defined their intimate lives. This exploration delves into practices that might seem unusual today, challenging our modern sensibilities and expanding our understanding of human history. Remember, judging the past by present-day standards obscures its true nature, making it essential to view these practices within their historical context. Instead, let us approach this subject with open minds and a thirst for knowledge, eager to learn from the past. By understanding the beliefs and practices surrounding sexuality in ancient Egypt, we gain a deeper appreciation for this ancient civilization and its enduring impact on human history, enriching our perspective on the human experience. Ancient Egyptian art frequently depicts humans engaging in sexual acts with animals. This practice, known as bestiality, might seem shocking today. However, it's crucial to understand the cultural context in which it occurred. Egyptians viewed animals not just as creatures but as manifestations of divine power. Certain animals held specific religious significance. For example, the god Seth was often depicted with the head of an animal that remains unidentified. The sexual act in this context wasn't merely physical, it represented a symbolic union between humanity and the divine, a way to tap into the power of the gods. This practice highlights the Egyptians' deep reverence for the natural world and their belief in the interconnectedness of all beings. The Egyptians' elaborate mummification process, designed to preserve the body for the afterlife, also reveals their concerns about necrophilia. Priests responsible for preparing the deceased took precautions to prevent any possibility of sexual acts with the deceased. This involved specific rituals and the careful positioning of amulets on the body. These amulets served as both physical and spiritual deterrents. They acted as symbolic guardians, protecting the deceased from any unwanted advances in the afterlife. This practice underscores the Egyptians' belief in the continuation of life after death. It also highlights their respect for the sanctity of the deceased and their commitment to ensuring a peaceful transition into the afterlife. Family planning played a significant role in ancient Egyptian society. While large families were common, evidence suggests they practiced various methods of birth control. These methods, often derived from natural sources, range from herbal concoctions to pessaries made of materials like wool or linen. These practices demonstrate a surprisingly advanced understanding of the female reproductive system. They also reveal a desire to regulate family size, likely for economic or social reasons. This aspect of ancient Egyptian life challenges the notion that birth control is a modern invention. It highlights the ingenuity and resourcefulness of ancient cultures in addressing practical life challenges. Bestiality in ancient Egypt, religious practices and artistic representations. While the previous section addressed the symbolic aspects of bestiality, it's important to acknowledge its presence in ancient Egyptian art and religious practices. Depictions of humans engaging in sexual acts with animals appear in various forms, from tomb paintings to papyri. These images often carry religious connotations, suggesting a ritualistic component to these acts. However, the exact nature and extent of these practices remain a subject of scholarly debate. Some scholars argue that these depictions were purely symbolic, representing the union of human and divine forces. Others suggest they might reflect actual practices, albeit likely confined to specific religious contexts. Regardless of the interpretation, these depictions offer a glimpse into the complex and often multifaceted nature of ancient Egyptian beliefs and rituals. Royal incest power, purity, and genetic consequences. Incest, particularly among royalty, was not uncommon in ancient Egypt. It was a practice deeply rooted in their culture and traditions. Pharaohs often married their siblings or half-siblings, believing it maintained the purity of the royal bloodline. This was seen as a way to keep their lineage untainted and divine. This practice stemmed from the belief that pharaohs were divine descendants of the gods. They were considered living gods on earth, and their bloodline was thought to be sacred. By marrying within their family, they aimed to preserve their God-given right to rule. This was not just a matter of tradition, but a crucial aspect of their identity and legitimacy. However, this practice, while maintaining power, likely contributed to health problems within the royal family. The close genetic relationships increased the risk of hereditary diseases. Genetic disorders passed down through generations may have weakened the ruling dynasty over time. These health issues could have played a role in the eventual decline of their power. The practice of royal incest illustrates the complex interplay of power, religion, and biology in shaping ancient Egyptian society. It shows how deeply intertwined their beliefs and governance were.
By marrying within our family, we believed we were preserving our divine right to rule. It was a sacred duty we upheld with utmost seriousness. But, in truth, it came with a heavy price, affecting the health of our descendants. The very purity we sought to maintain became our greatest vulnerability.
Premarital sex and adultery, a culture of contrasts. Ancient Egyptian society held contrasting views on premarital sex and adultery. Premarital sex, while not explicitly encouraged, was generally tolerated, particularly among the lower classes. Marriage was often a practical arrangement, focused on establishing households and ensuring the continuation of family lines.
For us common folk, premarital sex wasn't that big of a deal. We were more concerned with setting up our homes and taking care of our families.
Adultery, however, was strictly forbidden, especially for women. The consequences for women caught in adultery were severe, often including death. This double standard reflected the patriarchal nature of ancient Egyptian society, where men held greater power and freedom than women. Divorce and masturbation, societal norms and divine associations. Divorce, while relatively uncommon, was permitted in ancient Egypt. Both men and women could initiate divorce proceedings, although the reasons for doing so differed based on gender. Women, for example, could seek divorce based on their husband's inability to provide adequately for the family. Masturbation, while not widely documented, appears to have been accepted within certain contexts. Some myths even attribute divine significance to the act, linking it to creation and fertility. This suggests a more nuanced and accepting view of sexuality than might be expected from an ancient civilization. Erotic material. The Turin Erotic Papyrus and its significance. The discovery of the Turin Erotic Papyrus provides a rare glimpse into the more explicit aspects of ancient Egyptian sexuality. This papyrus, dating back to around 1150 BCE, features a series of vignettes depicting both heterosexual and homosexual acts. While its purpose remains debated, some scholars believe it may have served as a form of erotic literature or even a manual for sexual practices. The Turin Erotic Papyrus challenges the notion that ancient societies were inherently prudish. It reveals a fascination with sexuality and a willingness to depict it in explicit detail. Myths and sexuality, Osiris, Isis, and the power of fertility. Egyptian mythology is replete with stories that intertwine sexuality with creation, death, and rebirth. The myth of Osiris and Isis, one of the most enduring tales, exemplifies this profound connection.
Osiris, murdered by his jealous brother, Set, is resurrected by his devoted wife, Isis, who conceives their son, Horus, through an act of necrophilia. This myth highlights the Egyptians' belief in the transformative power of sexuality, its ability to overcome death and ensure the continuation of life itself.
Conclusion. Unraveling the complexities of Egyptian sexuality. Exploring ancient Egyptian sexuality unveils a world both familiar and strikingly different from our own. It is a journey into a culture where the sacred and the sensual were often intertwined, creating a tapestry of beliefs and practices that continue to intrigue us today. Their practices, often intertwined with religion and mythology, reflect a deep reverence for life, death, and the natural world. The gods and goddesses they worshipped played significant roles in their understanding of sexuality and fertility. While some aspects might seem shocking or unusual by today's standards, it's essential to remember that judging the past through a modern lens obscures its true nature. These practices were part of a complex social and spiritual framework that made perfect sense to the people of that time. Instead, Let us approach these ancient beliefs and practices with curiosity and an open mind, seeking to understand the complexities of human experience across time and cultures. By doing so, we honor the richness of their civilization and gain insights into our own. The legacy of ancient Egypt extends far beyond its monumental architecture and intricate hieroglyphs. It encompasses a profound understanding of human nature and the mysteries of existence. Their beliefs about sexuality, often surprising and thought-provoking, offer a unique window into the hearts and minds of a civilization that continues to captivate our imaginations. These insights challenge us to reflect on our own views and assumptions. As we delve deeper into the mysteries of ancient Egypt, we gain a richer understanding of ourselves and the enduring power of human connection. The study of their sexuality is not just about the past, it is a mirror reflecting timeless aspects of the human condition.